So again, welcome to this second part of trying to honor the legacy of my dead husband. So in this session today, what I'm going to talk about is the things I've been doing to honor my husband's passing. And I'm finding that these things are actually helping me to grieve. They're helping me to have a focus. They're helping me to not dwell so much about his passing, but to do things to, cheer myself up, and also to, if he's looking down, to say, yes, you're doing everything that I wanted you to do. So again, I'm driving and I'm hoping to do as much as possible. So one of the things I've done, I'm only going to tell you what I've done. I'm not going to tell you what I'm planning to do, because sometimes you plan to do something and it doesn't work out. So one of the things I've done once my husband passed away was to, first of all, do a wake keep. Okay. Initially, the wake keep was going to be in the house, and then it was going to be, just a very small affair. It was still a very small affair, but with a difference. But then I decided, and I thought to myself, no, this man deserves everything that I can give him. Because when my husband was alive, he was the man who shied away from birthday. If you didn't remember his birthday for him, he would not talk about it. Okay, so that's just, he didn't like attention on himself. In fact, no, he loved attention, but he wouldn't, tell you, please, do this, it's my birthday today. No. So what I did was I decided really to do a wake keep. Okay. And I got a small hall, and I paid some people to come and decorate it. Got a very nice DJ who gave me really good rates, and for the catering, I went to this African restaurant called Tasty African Restaurant. You can just order food. So I ordered rice, chicken, beef. I bought a lot of drinks, and it was really a night for him. It was a night for him. And the other thing I did for his wake was to ask my Nigerian chaplain, Reverend Father Ato, to come and do a prayer. But then he said, no, I'm not coming to do a prayer. I'm going to do a real mass for him. And that made me, I broke down. And they had two Reverend Fathers come to say mass for him. And it was so beautiful. It really was so beautiful. My children were touched, especially my first son. He was so devastated. He was so devastated when he was giving a speech about his dad, because he was the one who did all the brochures, all the notice that we sent off for his wake. It was him who designed it, and I only went and printed those things. And he was the one who was liaising between here and Nigeria. So that was it. The wake keep was one of the things I did for him. The second thing that I've done for my husband was I made sure that I I chose the best people who repatriate deaths. I can't even remember, my brain is a bit fuzzy. So I chose the best undertakers, that's it. I chose the best undertakers. I had friends who told me about these undertakers, the Cribs. Their name is the Cribs, and I just found out that they were like two minutes walk from my work. I was liaising with the key person, and they were so good. They allowed me to come and visit him. So one of the things I did was also to go and visit him in the home, in the home where he was before the repatriation to Nigeria. I could have gone with people, but I didn't. I chose to go by myself. My children eventually went, and other people who wanted to see him, but I went by myself because I wanted to spend quality time with him, and they allowed me a whole hour to be with him, spoke with him. That was another traumatic time, because by then you could see there was a change. There was no longer blood flowing through his body. There was a change. He was actually really gone. There's no mistaking with that. Because before, one of the things that was happening to me was when he initially died, and I was staying with him initially, I would suddenly call the nurses after 1 hour, 2 hours. I'll call them and say, look, he has started breathing. I don't know if that happened to other people, but I'll call them, I'll panic and go to the nursing station and say, look, he's breathing, and they'll come and say, look, no, he's been certified dead for this long. So when that happens to you, know that it can happen to you. Be aware that these things can happen, that you're genuinely seeing them breathing. But this time when I went into the undertaker's home, I could see that really, yes, this man is no longer. It's just his body. His spirit has left. So I chose one of his best clothes. I didn't buy a new clothes for him, but I chose one of his African clothes, white. I bought underwears for him. I bought new underwears and socks. And, this really gave me, doing that for him was. And the other thing I did was to get a specialist makeup artist. The home can do it for you, but if you pay extra money, you get people who will come. And truly, my husband, they looked after my husband. And so the other thing in relation to him, his preparing his body that I did, was to take him home 2 days before his burial. Okay. I didn't want to compromise on that. I didn't want to listen to anybody about anything, because in my mind, the undertakers that told me that they can guarantee 2 good days that he will be in Nigeria and will be fine. He's not going to deteriorate. So I didn't want to listen. And I also had a friend. Oh, thank you, Joan. I also had a friend who told me, you gave me example of how they did theirs and how it worked out. So I paid to take him direct to my local mortuary in Enugu. Okay. The only thing I'm going to say about that is that when your loved one comes home to the local mortuary, okay, give those people money. Okay, just tip them and make sure that you lock your loved one's casket. You must lock your loved one's casket and take your key. because all they need to do for you is to house your loved one in a cold storage. That's all. They don't need to dress him, because he's already been dressed from the UK and he's just been repatriated to Nigeria. For me, we took him from Lagos and then by road. You need to know that transporting him from Lagos to my own state in Enugu was by road. There was nothing available for a flight to Enugu. It has to be by road. But I was very happy. I was in contact with the undertakers in Lagos. They were absolutely wonderful. They were so good, and the car they used to transport him was just, I cannot fault them. And when I came to the mortuary in Enugu and saw my husband, although it was very emotional, I was just happy by the way he looked. If a corpse could be said to be beautiful, handsome, and my husband was a handsome man anyway, but if a corpse could be said to be handsome, they did a great job. Yeah. But that 2 days that they said they can guarantee, believe you me, don't tamper with those 2 days. If they say to you, I can take your loved one home to Nigeria, and I can guarantee that, given the weather at that particular time, I can guarantee that your loved one is going to remain fresh for 2 days. Don't argue. Don't say, because the family at home will be saying, but we need him to come home in 10 days. We have to come home 20 days. In this case, that is where your focus has to be. Okay? If there's one thing that could have brought some misunderstanding, that was that. But for me, I just could not. I was tunnel visioned, because there's no way on this earth I'm going to let him deteriorate because of Kelly. No, I couldn't do. And that time when he was going in May, the weather was hot. So the information they gave me was based on the weather conditions, and I just had to listen to them. So there will be a bit of a worry as to whether your loved one can actually come home when they say they'll come home. But just trust the system, because the company himself, they're just amazing. They're good. They've never not brought anybody home when they said they'll bring people home. So that was another thing that I did for him, bringing him home in a good state and getting undertakers that were good and highly recommended. The other thing that I did was the package I chose for him. There are packages up to, you can buy the casket for 7,000. It really depends on what you want to do. For me, I decided to go with the range. There was a coffin. The coffin was just not possible. When I looked at that coffin, I said, never. It's not possible. It's not possible that I'm going to do, that I'm going to take my loved one with this. So I did my best and took an affordable package. Don't forget, everything depends on you. If you want to spend $1 million, if you have it, that's your loved one. That's what you want. And don't let anybody tell you, it's just is it not waste of money? Don't let anybody tell you about money. Don't let anybody. If you have the money to spend on your loved one, do it for your loved one. Do it for your loved one. People. I remember people said to me, "Oh, don't go and do too much. Save the money." No, I just couldn't, because I saw my husband. I saw how he suffered. I saw. Oh, I said, bam. This is not good. So that was one thing. The other thing I did was that, I don't know whether I should talk about this now, but okay, maybe I should talk about it. Is that when you're in terms of Nigeria, when you're thinking of the actual company who will take care of either transporting him to wherever he needs to be transported, make sure in Enugu, where I come from, one of the better ones are a company called Apans. They give a range of services, and depending on what you want to spend, you can go with them. They have limousines of different quality, and they have young men who will carry your loved one, either wearing African or wearing European. But because my husband was wearing African, I decided I actually chose those young men who were wearing African. But the thing, they wanted to know if I needed a band. You know that one? Sorry. Never in my life will somebody I love be thrown up and down in the name of being buried. And even when I looked at my husband, I thought, God, the man will come out and punch whoever is, pushing him up and down. And I said to those people, look, don't ever dance with his casket. Just carry him. If you know, just carry him gently to where he needs to go to. So that's one. The other thing I did for him before, I think after this one, I'm going to stop. The other thing I did for him was that my husband spent many years building. Okay. But unfortunately, we were going to go home in March. We're going to actually go home in March of 2024, as the March of this year, and he died in February. So we had already bought our ticket, everything. So the house he was building for many years, we're going to go in March and get into the house. But then when we got home, when my children and I got home with my sister, the house was unlivable. The house, because I said, one of the things I promised him was that he was going to go there. Like one of the, traditionally in our place, you're taken to your houses. If you have whatever house you have, you lie in state in all of them before you're buried. So one of the things I promised him was that he would lie in state for 1 hour in that house. But when I came, the place was a total bombshell. When I say bombshell, I mean bombshell. And wow, if I think about it, I don't know where I got the strength. I don't know where I got the strength. But when I saw the place, I decided, this is not going to work. But then, fortunately, I had my senior sister. My senior sister traveled with me to Nigeria. My sister said, look, I'm looking at this. This is just a matter of, if we really pushed, that we could do this. And genuinely we pushed. We got a woman who cleans houses. That is her business. And she came and she told us that it was going to be a week. Well, no, we didn't have a week. It was going to be buried the next week. So we decided to get another cleaner, and another 2 young women came. These are young people who just go to school, and they do, after school they just come and have their own hustling business. So they went. The first one charged us 280,000 naira, and the 2 young women who took the ground floor charged 200. So in total we paid them 480, and that included them buying the chemical and so on and so forth. And then after cleaning, the house became something else. The house became something else, and I was wow. That's when I had confidence that this is going to work. By then, I had already ordered settees that was done for me by my carpenter. I had already ordered fridge and everything to actually stay in the house. And the moment the cleaning was done, I called my cousin who is a priest. My cousin who is a priest came and blessed the house for me from upstairs to down to the boys' quarters everywhere. And that was Father Tochu. Thank you. And then after that it was ready. So that on the day of my husband's laying to rest, which was on the 3rd of May, the first place he went to from the mortuary was, I wasn't there, but my children took him straight to their house, and they stayed there for an hour, and my cousin actually prayed for him. I feel so thankful, In everything in this life, you have to have gratitude. And one of the things I've learned is that focusing, before that, the day before my husband's death, my husband's burial, I encountered Satan in all his form. I encountered Satan in all his form. If you can think, when we say that Satan, when we talk about Satan and evil, it is human beings. It's not some, it is human beings. But then, because of my focus, because of my determination in everything I was doing, all I was focused on was my husband. And that kind of person, when I have a project, when I'm doing something, I go into flow. I go into flow that I don't even, until I achieve it. In fact, that's one of my weaknesses, in that if I'm doing something, I'm like a dog with a bone. I must pursue it till I see the end. So when the negativity came the night before my husband's burial, by then I knew that I had already done my duty. I had already done my duty in terms of making sure that everything was already set. So that's where I'm going to stop. In my next one, which is going to be like a part 2, I'm going to try and talk about so many of the other things I've done to honor his legacy, to keep his legacy alive, to really to honor him, that he to say now, well done, well done. It doesn't matter. And one of the things I'm going to say is, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what people say. It doesn't matter what people think. What matters in this life we live is your own conscience and God. Okay? Because the only person you have to impress, this is my pattern statement. The only person you have to impress, in fact, it's not a person, the only being you have to impress on this earth is God. Others can go to hell. And gossip, if people said you killed, that you're the one who killed your husband, don't be distracted. Don't be distracted, because one of the things that happens before burial is that the negative person in your family, in your life, that is when the power is at its highest. So you must always remember that and just focus. Focus on what you want to achieve, and then you will see. And do not give it air. Do not give it air. If you know how you can quietly be in a space, do it. So I'm going to stop here because it's been a journey, and it continues to be a journey. If you like this, I want to see the next one. Please share, like, and subscribe. Bye bye. Again, I didn't even say my name. My name is simoneokolo. Bye. Thank you.